Let me tell you something. Nobody warned you that inheriting land in Texas isn't just a blessing, it's a full contact sport. The day I set foot on my granddad's property again, I felt less like a lucky grandson and more like a lone ranger walking into a standoff. Picture this: 140 acres of stubborn earth barbed wire that'd slice your jeans if you blinked wrong, tractors that haven't run since Carter was president, and a house on the hill that leaned like it was trying to whisper a secret to the mesquites. Yeah, mine now. All of it. And honestly, the only thing heavier than the keys in my pocket was the sense that something was coming for it. My grandfather, Earl Banner, he carved this place out of sunburn and sweat, owned every inch since the 50s, and every inch told you one thing: private. And I mean private in the way only old ranchers and coyotes understand. But I'd barely had 3 days of peace, just enough time to sweep out the barn and remember what the inside of an honest day's work felt like before trouble showed up in my driveway, dressed like it was headed to a country club mixer. It was mid-morning sun, already baking the dust onto my arms, when I heard that unmistakable sound of tires chewing up gravel. I rounded the porch crowbar, still in hand, and there it was, a black SUV waxed within an inch of its life, sitting where only trucks and horses ever belonged. Big Prairie Trails. HOA logo slapped on the door like some kind of badge. Out popped 3 folks, all wearing that I own the place energy. Leading the charge was a woman, Karen Sloan, tall, late 40s, hair bleached and sprayed so hard you could use it as a level, lips pursed sharp as a box cutter. She walked up my drive like she'd paved it herself. Right behind her, there's a beefy guy with an ex-sheriff's gut and a skinny dude clutching a clipboard like he'd rather be holding a sword. "Can I help you?" I asked, not moving the crowbar. Karen looks at me, deep breath like bracing for my supposed stupidity, and says, "Mr. Banner, I'm Karen Sloan, president of the Prairie Trails Homeowners Association." "Well, that's fantastic," I say. "Too bad. This land isn't part of your little HOA empire." She smiles, all venom and veneers. "Oh, I'm afraid there's been some confusion." Clipboard dude jumps in, opens his folder and starts reciting lines, claims my property got absorbed into the HOA's development zone back in 2019, that my granddad ignored a decade's worth of safety and landscaping ordinances, and that I now owe $60,000 in fines. $60,000. For breathing the wrong air, I guess. I laugh. "Can't help it. You really think you can waltz in here, wave around some forged paperwork, and just take what's mine?" Karen's eyes narrow, and she lays out the threat: 30 days to pay, or they'll come for the land legal forfeiture, the whole 9. She tries the "let's be reasonable" act, but I see right through it. You're 3 miles out of your jurisdiction and 6 inches from a trespassing charge, I say. The big guy mutters, "We'll come back with an order. This isn't your land anymore, soldier." Now that word soldier, it lands like a punch. "Wrong battlefield friend," I tell him, voice low, "and you're barking up the wrong damn tree." I head back inside, not slamming the door, not losing my cool, just grabbing my old 12 gauge and stepping back out onto the porch. Not pointing, just holding, just reminding. Karen's smile disappears. "You've got 30 seconds to vacate," I tell them, calm as a preacher on Sunday. "You cross the line." Literally. The sheriff guy's hands go up, clipboard kid looks ready to wet himself, and they all back out to the SUV. As they peel off, Karen hisses out the window, "You'll regret this." "We know how to handle people like you," I holler back. "Yeah, I bet you do." Lock the gate behind them, call the sheriff, play the recording. I made on my phone, full threats, full. "Karen." The deputy comes, watches the footage, shakes his head, promises to file a report. I ask about the sheriff. Guy turns out he got run out of office for side-dealing land claims. Perfect. Now, if you think that was the end of it, you've never dealt with an HOA that thinks they're the law. Next morning, I'm reheating chili, feeling kind of proud I didn't have to use the shotgun when there's a knock. Hard official. 2 city code inspectors this time, badges, vests, clipboards, the works. They rattle off a whole list: unsafe structures, illegal water use, barns, wells, dirt that apparently doesn't meet the HOA's dirt standards. They hand me a packet of violations that could choke a mule with 2 weeks to fix everything or else. 2 weeks, I ask if they've even looked at anything yet. The older guy says complaints came in with photographs. That stops me cold because the only people with pictures are the HOA goons from yesterday. I walk them around making sure they don't invent new sins. They measure everything, take pictures of things that haven't mattered since 1972, leave a trail of yellow violation tags through my barn. I don't even take my boots off. Just drive straight to the county office past the smell of hot toner and defeat. Records clerk tells me there's a pending annexation request for my property submitted by guess who, Prairie Trails HOA. I keep it cool. Ask who authorized it. She leans in, drops her voice, tells me it came from a private consultant hired by the HOA. Says I'd better check my property records fast. Back at the ranch, I'm piecing together every deed, every survey Granddad ever scribbled notes on. There it is in his handwriting, no HOA. Not now, not ever. I start to realize just how far they'll go to erase that line. Now here's where it gets good. Enter Trevor, a lean guy, mid-30s neighbor from up the ridge, says he's ex-National Guard, wants to help me out. Friendly enough, knows all the right local names, even helps fix the barn's wiring. But the guy asks a lot of questions. You know the type, about water rights, deed, storage, insurance, all a little too nosy. One night I set up a little test, leave an empty lockbox in the barn loft, set a trail cam wait. 2 nights later, bingo footage of Trevor snooping, taking pictures of my file cabinet. Next morning, I confront him, shotgun in my lap, real slow and calm. He tries to lie, says he's just worried about me. But I'm done playing. Turns out he doesn't even own land up the ridge, never did. That night, I can't sleep. If they're sending in fake neighbors, they're desperate. Then things really start to spiral. A drone buzzes the pasture. I shoot it down, bury the wreckage in manure. My bank account gets frozen because the HOA filed a civil claim for those bogus fines. Can't buy supplies, can't pay help. Feels like drowning in paperwork, exactly like they want. Then comes the real breaking point. A midnight alarm, someone trying to cut the barn lock. I grab the shotgun, slip out in the dark, catch Trevor red-handed breaking in with a fake search warrant stamped HOA enforcement. He runs, I chase, tackle him at the ditch. Find my land surveys, photos, a fake warrant in his bag. Sheriff shows up, takes him in, finally some progress. 2 weeks later, I'm in court. Courthouse packed, Karen's there in her best power blazer, flanked by clipboard boy and that rent-a-cop ex-sheriff. Their lawyer claims my land got passively absorbed into the HOA, even waves around a document supposedly signed by my granddad in 1997. My lawyer, Erica, cool as ice, rips them apart, proves the signatures fake, notary stamps too new, even brings in a former HOA council member who spills everything about Karen's plot to expand boundaries and forge docs. When they realize the jig is up, Karen loses it, screaming about character assassination. The judge hammers the gavel, rules in my favor, recognizes the HOA stunts as harassment and fraud. And then here's the twist, refers the whole thing for criminal investigation. Karen goes pale, clipboard kid, nearly faints. Ex-sheriff stares, holes in the floor. They cuff Karen right there in court. Yeah, applause broke out. Never thought I'd see that in a courthouse. But here's the thing about cockroaches, just because you stomp them doesn't mean they stop moving. Even from lockup, Karen stirs up her board. But I'm done playing defense. My lawyer helps me buy a worthless parcel inside the HOA, makes me a voting member. I demand access to financial records, and boy, what a mess. Shell companies missing, landscaping funds, payments to Trevor's LLC. I posted all online, full-page ad, the works. 5 families quit the HOA in a week. The board scrambles, meetings turn ugly, accusations fly. I call a meeting as a dues-paying member motion to dissolve the HOA. Quorums met some folks, brought whiskey, others popcorn, the vote passes, and just like that, Prairie Trails HOA is history. Karen's still in holding her lawyer, quit the board, scattered like possums at sunrise. And me, I finally own my land, free and clear. On the day I reclaimed it all, sun beating down, I rebuilt the east fence, stained a heavy oak gate, carved a sign, private land, not HOA property violators will be photographed, prosecuted, and possibly mocked over BBQ. Poured a shot of bourbon for Granddad and one for me. That night I grilled enough for half the county neighbors' friends, even a deputy or two. Somebody handed me my granddad's old cast iron mailbox, the one the HOA made him take down. Figured someone with guts ought to have it, he said. Later, folks called for a speech. I just told the truth. Never wanted a fight. Never wanted an HOA war. But if you try to steal a man's legacy, you better be ready for the bones you'll dig up. This fence stays up. This gate stays closed. No Karen with a clipboard ever crosses this line again. They clapped not for me, but for freedom. As the stars came out, I walked the property one more time, shotgun in hand, not out of fear, but out of respect for what it took to keep it. At midnight, I hammered up one last sign under the other's Charter Oak Farm. Freedom lives here. Trespassers will be educated with extreme prejudice. Now tell me, if it were you, would you have fought for it or just signed whatever paper they put in front of you? Let me know down in the comments. And if you've ever had your own HOA war or just think justice is worth fighting for, hit that subscribe, share your story. Let's keep this fire burning.